All right, if you've just tuned in, we are in conversation with Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana. He's the General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches. We're discussing the Unburdening report that they released last week, Thursday. It's quite a scathing report when it comes to state capture, 7 points highlighted, and quite frightening revelations as to exactly what has been going on with state capture. Bishop, again, I thank you so much for coming in. Obviously, this isn't binding. This investigation, it can't exactly lead to a criminal investigation and prosecution. But you've handed over the report to the ANC. This is really to create awareness by this. This happened last Thursday. What's come of it so far?
Say that again, please. What's the question?
The question is, what has happened since you have released this report? Obviously, it's not, there can't be criminal charges put on just this report or prosecutions, but you've handed it to the ANC, you've made it public knowledge, you've created awareness. What has come of it?
No, we did not actually hand the report to the ANC. What we did was to advise the ANC in April that we are looking at these issues more deeply now. The report we were making was more to the church public in preparation for the conference that the SACC will be having in June. From the 6th to the 8th is our triennial national conference. And this is part of the work that's going into the conference where, as I said, we have a C Judge Act process. This is the C. The judge is a theological work that's being done that says, what does this mean in terms of our gospel values? And then ultimately at conference we have the act, which is the resolution of what action is appropriate and necessary in the light of what we know.
Yeah. Bishop, I'm going to be quite frank because this question was asked to you during the press conference as well. One of the journalists or somebody asked the question, is President Zuma corrupt? Your reply was, the jury is out. What's your reply now?
Because the issue was not the focus on President Zuma per se. This is a C process of what the systems are. We're focused on the governmental environment and the system that is at play. It's clear that the people, all these goings on are pivoted around a ring of people around the president. But we have not focused on whether he personally is corrupt. I don't think that's what the purpose of this was about.
So it's obviously bigger than...
There may well be a conclusion in that direction. But that's not where we are right now.
So obviously it's bigger than just one man, and I think everybody realizes that, and particularly from your investigations as well. But what should happen? You know, we're in this situation now. You have a report. You have seen things, heard things from people that are very disgruntled. You had a church full of very disgruntled and upset former members of government that were sitting there in the pews. We've seen them in the overlay we're showing of our former finance minister and many, many more. What should happen? Where does our moral compass or the government's moral compass come in here?
Beginning from the perspective that we too are part of the problem. And this is the difference between church, I would say, and maybe a social justice NGO. The church is actually the population that is the society that is both aggrieved as well as they are both the sinners and the sinned against. We are the sinners and we are the sinned against. We are causing the problem and we're receiving the problem. And this is where we need to reflect on this comprehensively. So people should not look at the report and see immediate action. They must look at the report as a process. We will know for sure where we stand on all these matters at the end of our conference on the 8th of June. It's another couple of weeks.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, we'll wait on that one. Bishop, I know that this was the large focus of the interview, but there's so much more I need to ask you, and I think we need your voice at this time in South Africa, where we have been seeing so many devastating stories. I mean, already in our news this morning, we're seeing stories of people that are being kidnapped, people that are being murdered, people that are being raped, abused, young children, women. Bishop, what is happening? Where are we losing ourselves in all of this? We
have lost our moral compass as a society. There are many reasons for this. We don't have the time for this, but I will tell you that part of our analysis has led us to deal, that's exactly why we have the 5 pillars of our South Africa we pray for. Beginning with healing and reconciliation. It's a broken society. It's a broken society, a wounded society. There is a lot to be said that needs to be done for healing and reconciliation. And that's why we have all these problems of racism, of hatred, and even the way the killings are happening, of killing people, it is so horrible. Secondly, we're dealing with the issue of broken families. And the whole issue of gender-based violence that is so rampant, and the rape that are happening within families, tells you that the family fabric has broken down. It does need to be addressed, and the churches have to deal with that. And then, of course, with the issue of poverty and inequality, which deals with all the problems. You might think that poor people are greater sinners than rich people. That's not true. It's because the culture of poverty is a culture of difficult and hard survival. Then, of course, part of the reason why we were involved and we continue to be involved in the issue of higher education, fees must fall crisis, has to do with the fact that we recognize education as the most important instrument for dealing with inequality in society. But we need to deal with economic transformation and create a reconciled economic dispensation. And then finally, the issues of anchoring democracy. All of these 5 pillars actually are our effort to deal with the broader social issues, because they're all interlinked. There is none that is not relating to the other.
Yeah. I mean, Bishop,
but
I think
we have to say that the efforts, sorry? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly what you're saying is exactly what many people have been saying. It's that broken, I highlight the one point, it's that broken family. It's not giving the children and the society we need that proper upbringing, proper good examples. But at the same time, you also are now getting pastors that are coming in. I mean, there's a story on the front page of the newspaper, and I'd love you to comment on this, of a Zimbabwean pastor who in his service gave God a phone call and phoned heaven to speak to God. And exactly, your face says it all. And that's the reality. People are finding the weaknesses of other individuals. And I mean, what is your advice, again, and I ask you to do this quickly, when it comes to religion and when it comes to people, it doesn't matter what religion you are, but grasping at straws and grasping at people that perhaps are taking advantage of us?
It's terrible. It's absolutely wicked, I would say. It is entrepreneurial religion taken to the extremes. I mean, I can understand people running churches as a private business, but to actually have a church and a religious institution that has all these fantasies in the name of faith and taking advantage of gullible people is so grossly wrong. And something has to be done. I commend the effort of the Aerial Rights Commission to deal with these issues, even though I think that we may have differences as to exactly how to resolve it. But I think that something has to be done.
All right, Bishop, I leave it there for this morning. Thank you very much for talking to us. So much packed into one interview with Bishop. It's not often we get him, so it's great to get his advice on many issues. Malusi Mpumlwana, he's the General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches, talking to us about that unburdening report, as well as where we are losing our way as a country, and then these churches and pastors that are promising the impossible. Let's take a break.